There is a level of discipline that unsettles people. Not because it is loud, not because it is cruel, but because it never negotiates. Most people are comfortable around ambition. They admire dreams. They applaud intentions. They celebrate potential. Yet the moment they encounter someone whose actions never depend on emotion, something inside them becomes uneasy. Consistency is intimidating. A person who moves every day without excuses becomes a mirror, and mirrors reveal what words can hide. That is why true discipline has always been mistaken for talent. That is why silent people often achieve what louder people only promise. There is an ancient idea that has survived kingdoms, wars, and generations. It did not survive because it was pleasant. It survived because reality never found a way to defeat it. The Zen masters understood it. The samurai protected it. And ordinary people feared it. Today, you will learn that system. Not as history, not as inspiration, but as a blueprint for rebuilding your identity. Because the greatest prison was never your lack of ability. It was your dependence on choice. Ask yourself one question. Why do you begin so many things with absolute conviction, only to abandon them weeks later? Why does your future self always seem stronger than the person making today's decisions? Why do you keep waiting for the version of yourself that never arrives? These questions are not random. They point toward a hidden enemy. An enemy so ordinary that most people never recognize it. It wears the face of freedom, but it behaves like a prison. Long before modern psychology gave it a name, Zen practitioners observed it during silent meditation. They noticed that the human mind constantly searched for comfort while pretending it searched for truth. Every day it whispered the same lie. Tomorrow will be easier. Tomorrow. 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 Entire lives disappeared inside that single word. The samurai could not afford such thinking. On the battlefield, hesitation meant death. The sword demanded presence. The mind demanded certainty. There was no room for endless negotiations between intention and action. This was never just military philosophy. It became a philosophy of living. Because every human being fights battles no one else can see. Some fight distraction. Some fight fear. Others fight themselves. The battlefield simply changed its appearance. The war remained exactly the same. Imagine a river flowing through stone. The rock appears powerful. The water appears weak. Yet after enough years, the river reshapes the mountain itself. Not through violence, through continuity. That is the forgotten lesson. Power is rarely explosive. Power is repetitive. Power returns tomorrow. And the next day. And the next. Most people worship intensity. Masters worship continuity. There is a profound difference. Intensity burns brightly. Continuity becomes permanent. One creates excitement. The other creates identity. To understand this, consider someone you probably recognize. His name is Kenji. There is nothing extraordinary about him. He reads books about discipline. He fills notebooks with goals. He watches videos late into the night. Every Monday feels like a new beginning. He promises himself that this time everything will change. The alarm rings before sunrise. He wakes immediately. He exercises. He meditates. He writes in his journal. He feels unstoppable. By Wednesday, he is slightly tired. By Friday, unexpected responsibilities appear. By Sunday, the routine has disappeared. The following Monday arrives with another promise. Another fresh start. Another carefully designed schedule. Another collapse. Months become years. His plans become more sophisticated. His results remain exactly the same. What happened? Was Kenji lazy? No. Was he unintelligent? No. Did he lack ambition? Not at all. His true problem was far more dangerous. He believed that discipline was something he needed to feel before he could perform. Every action depended on internal permission. Every decision required fresh motivation. Every morning became another courtroom where emotions argued against responsibility. Eventually, emotion always won. Because emotion never fights fairly. It changes shape. It becomes fatigue. It becomes stress. It becomes uncertainty. It becomes the comforting voice that says, "You deserve one day off." Then another. Then another. The habit does not disappear all at once. It dissolves quietly. Like mist under morning sunlight. Kenji believed he was fighting laziness. He was actually fighting decision fatigue. He believed he lacked determination. He actually possessed too many choices. This realization changes everything. The Zen tradition speaks often of emptying the mind. Many misunderstand this. They imagine silence, stillness, peace. But there is another meaning. To empty the mind is to remove unnecessary decisions. A cluttered mind constantly negotiates. A disciplined mind simply proceeds. One asks, the other acts. One debates, the other repeats. That difference appears insignificant. Over months, it creates entirely different lives. Modern neuroscience has reached a remarkably similar conclusion. Researchers studying habit formation have found that repeated behaviors gradually shift away from effortful decision-making and become increasingly automatic through neural pathways associated with habitual action. In other words, the brain begins conserving energy by turning repeated actions into routines rather than fresh choices. The ancient masters never used the language of neuroscience. They did not need to. They observed the same truth through disciplined living. What science measures today, Zen practitioners practiced centuries ago. This is where your transformation begins. Not by becoming more motivated. Not by becoming stronger. Not by forcing yourself to try harder. But by understanding the hidden architecture of consistency. Because the person you are trying to become does not wake up every morning asking what they feel like doing. They simply continue. Like the river. Like the sunrise. Like a perfectly rehearsed choreography that no longer requires thought. And in the next chapter, you will discover the first illusion that must die before true discipline can be born. It is the illusion that has controlled nearly every decision of your life. Its name is motivation.